This week on Dumb Pitches, my guest is Alyssa Yeoman. And let me just say, Hardball the musical, 8 a.m. hookup that turns into one of the best stories, I think, of the year. I'm really excited for you to see it. Here we go, Dumb Pitches.
What a bunch of dumb pitches. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to another episode of Dumb Pitches with Monica Nevi. I'm Monica Nevi, your host. This is the show where we talk to successful people about their worst ideas. So excited for our guest this week in person. Alyssa Yeoman is here. Hello. Thank you for doing it. Sorry, I'm going to start a little timer.
Yeah.
And welcome to our beautiful new studio.
Yeah, this is gorgeous. I feel at home in these chairs and this coffee table.
Perfect. Ready to get vulnerable and share your bad ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we do like to start the show by giving everyone your good ideas so they know you haven't only had terrible ideas.
Yes.
So, Alyssa Yeoman, hilarious stand-up comedian, maybe you've seen on Don't Tell. Great set there. And then you also have a podcast called Is This Normal?
Yes.
Where people, well, and that was a live show too.
Yeah, and we sometimes still do the live show when the mood strikes. But
when it feels normal.
We say we're a live show turned podcast turned live show. Yeah, people write in their anonymous quirks, queries, confessions, and me and my friend Erin Engel decide if they're normal or something completely different. Nothing's weird. It's always like special or innovative.
Got it. Like
you know, but yeah, sometimes
that's
illegal.
not
But yeah.
But no, yeah, we did it as a live, or I've done it a couple times on the live show. And it's really fun because you do stand up, but then you can also like answer the quirks or whatever anybody writes in.
And people really be writing in like some real shit.
Because it's like anonymous, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
So you could write whatever you wanted.
And I'm like, maybe you shouldn't, but yeah, people definitely will write whatever in. So yeah.
That's great. Okay. Well, then you check that out too. So you've had plenty of good ideas.
I've had
some good ideas.
Yeah. a handful.
Well, lucky for you, that's not what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly.
We're here to hear about your bad ideas. So when I kind of sent you the criteria, what did you come up with?
Okay, there's a few that came to my mind, but we'll start with the first one. This one is probably a bad idea, but I think it could be. This is whenever someone. Okay, we'll see. So have you seen the movie Hardball?
Hardball, yeah.
With Keanu Reeves?
Yes.
Okay. Hardball, but a musical.
Okay.
Hardball the musical. That is an idea I've had marinating for a long time.
And it would be like a lot of Biggie and stuff? Or like,
I think there would be some Biggie. Definitely, because that song is in it.
Right,
we'll have some Biggie covers. But I think there'll be, a few like numbers with like the whole team.
More like a show tune situation.
Yeah,
like
exactly. I'm thinking full musical.
Yeah, okay, because you could do... I'm like really thinking about it. Yeah. I'm just imagining Keanu Reeves being in it still, but I don't know if that's...
He'll sign on
correct
for sure.
casting, but that's great. I'm just thinking of them like on the baseball field doing like a full number.
Exactly.
Kind of High School Musical style.
I think people would love it.
I think so too. I don't think that's the worst idea I've heard.
Okay, that's
I don't
good.
know. I mean... Maybe in this time of kind of revolutionizing musical theater with more genre of music in, post Hamilton or whatever.
Yeah.
Then that would be, people might be more interested in it now than maybe when it came out.
Yeah, truly.
Like,
I would love to get Lin-Manuel on it.
There you go.
Maybe write a few raps. Yeah.
A Hardball musical by Lin-Manuel.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like that's at the end of the day, it's probably a bad idea. I mean, the movie itself, I'm not sure if it aged well. I haven't watched it in
I haven't
at
watched
least
it in quite a while.
Like, I think I maybe saw it like 4 years ago.
It was a time of like a lot of white savior movies.
It was.
Yeah.
And this one was definitely that as well.
Yes.
But I mean, did the kids save him?
Right. I think that's really how the story usually goes, right? I thought I was saving them, but really. Well, and really... So if you haven't seen it, he has to coach this baseball team because he gets arrested or whatever. Like
he's got like a
part of his probation or something was to coach this baseball team. So technically he did need some saving.
Exactly. But that's just like one of my bad ideas. I was like,
it seems like you've thought about this quite a bit.
I've thought about it. Yeah, there's moments where I was like, should I write this script? Like maybe it's like
that's the hard part. You're like, this needs to be a musical, but I've never written a musical or been in a musical or any of that.
None of of that.
No.
Yeah. So
I see this as a musical, though.
yeah, I think it could be something. But definitely one of my worst ideas.
I mean, not
But-
that bad. Okay, what else you got? I guess.
My other one. Well, this is more of a. I thought of this one because. So I was thinking about this time.
I like how you're questioning these before you're even getting them out to. You're like, oh, it's
As I'm,
you're like
like,
making
saying
excuses.
about
You're like, I just thought about it, but
Yeah. As I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, wow, this is actually horrible.
it's good.
This one is about an 8 a.m. hookup.
You got
Yeah.
Blake in the other room on that
Yes, I
one.
got
Yes,
Blake.
that's
That's
hard
all
to
I was
do.
waiting for. So
Okay, wait. All right.
yeah, which already sounds fucking terrible. But
Yeah.
I had gone on this like family vacation to Hawaii. The year was 2015. Different time, but I like left some of my family. We were on one island and then we went to Kauai for the second island. And I left Kauai like a day early to go back because I had an earlier flight. And I like got my own Airbnb, like ended up partying with my Airbnb host. This was at a time where like you'd still like stay in that extra room.
Right.
You know?
Right. There's people there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pre-COVID, so you're like, oh, I'll stay in someone's fucking bedroom. You know what I mean?
I know. How many times I should have died, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'd be like, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
And so I go back, and then me and the Airbnb host like end up partying like all night. We go out to this like gay club and have like this great time. I think he does drag now, which is awesome. And I had been talking to this guy via some app. I don't remember, Tinder or something.
It's a dating
stupid.
app, though.
It's a
Okay.
dating
It
app.
wasn't like just on Instagram.
Yeah,
Got
it
it.
wasn't just on Instagram. That's when we were still just posting like pictures of our food and shit. So
Got
it was
it.
different.
It's a different time. Yeah.
And I like blocked him initially. Then I unblocked him when I went back to the Big Island because I was like, oh, maybe I'll like see what's up.
Like,
So-
I'm gonna try to get somebody in a boat over here, so I'll wait till I'm on the same island. Like-
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, I'll unblock him, whatever. And so me and my Airbnb host, we party all night. And then I'm messaging with this guy, and he's like, just come over in the morning and we'll like hook up. You know, like just, you know, if you make it over
So
here,
it's
I'll like
his
take you
idea.
to the airport, yada, yada. And I'm like up till 3 a.m. I'm like, oh, sure, I'll like come over in the morning. I take this. Yeah, it was his idea. And I don't know why I was like suddenly open to it. But
What
I
time
like,
was your flight?
my flight was like midday,
Okay.
like maybe like an 11 or something. Or yeah. And yeah, and I was already up till 3. So I'm like, okay. I like take my little like cat nap, take a little whore's bath or whatever, you know, got to get ready for, you know.
The hot spots.
Exactly. Get the hot spots, get ready for this. I go and I take an Uber like across the island. He lives like in the middle of nowhere. I'm like staying in like basically like the main city area. Take it to the middle of nowhere, show up at his little like shack. It literally is like this 1 bedroom, like he lives on someone else's land because he like tends to the land or whatever. I was like, is this guy even a figment of my imagination? But this happened. But so I show up, we hook up at like 8 a.m. It's fine, it's decent. Like he was what really sold me
Were
is he
you
told
like,
me
I could have been asleep this whole
I-
time, or
somewhat,
a little bit.
a little bit. Yeah, there's a moment he was like, I'm pretty vanilla, but I do have stamina. That was like his selling point to me, which I should have been like,
You don't
is
need
this
to-
worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please don't. I would be concerned if anybody was like giving me their play-by-play before we even. It's like, let's just see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm saying yes. Let's just see how it goes.
Yeah,
you know,
let's
like-
see what works or whatever. But he
Yeah.
gave me a little, you know, bio or whatever.
Got
Sexual
his,
bio.
Got his intro.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So we hook up at 8 a.m. and then he's like, okay, I'll take you to the airport. Airport's all the way back across the island. So we're going and I'm like noticing the time and I'm like, okay, it's like getting close. It's getting close. I show up at the airport. I'm fucking ravenous because I've just been like partying and like doing drugs all night. And then I woke up in the morning and had sex with
had
this, with this guy. And I get to the airport and I'm like, well, I have to get Burger King before I like go hop on this flight. I don't want to eat the flight food. And
Just a classic Hawaiian treat. Burger
yeah,
King.
exactly. But get to the gate and they're like, we've been calling your name. We actually already shut the door. Flight hasn't left, but they shut the door. They won't let me on. And I'm like, I've never missed a flight before this point, and I kind of have like a breakdown because I'm like, oh shit, I'm just like exhausted and stuff.
Well,
So I
right.
like start to cry a little. I like throw my backpack, which was too much, just like causing a scene. It's so out of character. And then I like turn around. I'm going to like walk around the airport because now my flight isn't for like another like 10 hours or something
shit.
stupid. And my whole family is now at the airport
And knows that you
and
missed
knows
this flight.
that I missed the flight. And I was like, why did you leave a day early if you're like still going to be here and we're all here? And it was fucking embarrassing.
You couldn't tell them what.
No, I didn't. I was just
Not
like,
the
oh,
reasons.
yeah, I missed it, Like, I wasn't like, oh, hey, mom and dad, I was fucking some rando this morning,
I got up early so I could go get
Yeah.
into the field with this person I met on Tinder.
Yeah, exactly. Have vanilla sex. That's the part they wouldn't have been proud of. But.
They were like, but did he have stamina?
Yeah,
Like-
exactly. Only if you got into some freak shit do we want to know.
Right, yeah, that's
Oh
oh my god. Well, I mean that I have so many questions really, but
Yeah.
that was there are a lot of layers to this story as far
Yes.
as bad ideas go.
Yeah,
We-
I was a series of bad ideas, definitely.
I mean that's I think just 8 a.m. hookup in general is I was imagining like just at home somewhere, like someone
Right.
I had assumed dating app, but
Thank you.
Yeah. but or someone maybe that you like hooked up with
Right.
before, and it was only a hookup thing. I feel like that always can be
Right.
at weird times too. But
Yeah.
okay, so I assumed it wasn't. But you were on vacation.
I was on
I like the idea
vacation.
that like your family was around for this, like
Yes.
not right around, but at least then you see them
Yeah.
after that. And were you feeling shame at this time?
I think I
Or were
was
you
so hungover that like
Just
I
need to
couldn't
not
feel
die.
shame in the moment. Like my older siblings, like I definitely like told them the truth, and they were
Mm.
both just like, "That's what you get," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was a great moment for them to like make fun of me, but I don't think I felt shame until I did feel a little shame when I like missed the flight. Like
Got it. You're
I
like,
was like-
this makes a difference.
yeah, but I
I
was
could
like,
see
this
that.
happens,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I've had similar things,
Yeah.
similar evenings or whatever, and a couple in Hawaii actually. But
It's Hawaii, there's something there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm definitely on vacation right
Yeah.
now. But I do like I feel it's not embarrassed, and I don't know if it's shame, maybe guilt or something like the next day
Right.
sometimes where I'm like, what are you doing? Like now, and it's only gotten more so as I get older. Like when I was way
Right.
younger, 23, 24, it's
Right.
like I'm stay up late and go to work the next day, and that's fine,
Yeah.
But now, even if I just stay up till 2 at any point, I'm like, what are you doing with your life? Like, would you get it together?
Was it worth it?
Yeah. Was it worth it? But then, I mean, because it's these layers of bad ideas, it kind of feeds into the next one, right?
Yeah.
Because do you make the choice to do the 8 a.m. hookup if you hadn't stayed up, if you hadn't been drinking and
Right.
partying and stuff? Like maybe you're a little
There would have been someone to be like, this is not the time to go
right,
do this,
or you would have
know?
been more rested,
Right.
and then could have maybe made the flight because you wouldn't have been like hungover. I don't
Totally.
know, but yeah, it's the whole
I think I felt the most shame for like crying in the airport.
throwing the backpack.
Yeah,
really got
throwing
you.
the-
That's
yeah.
you were like.
I
"Well,
feel
which
like I was
out
like,
of
I'm
character.
fucking
so sorry."
embarrassed. like I just threw like a tantrum, like, and it's not like I'm like rich or something or have the money to be like, get me on the next flight. Like I still had to be like, so
That's the
can I
worst
get on
part.
another flight? You know what I mean? It's like,
About shit getting canceled or you missing it, like
Mhm.
you see in movies, people be like, "Well, get me on the next one," like
Yeah.
whatever it is, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, we need to go through all of these logically and how."
yes.
And it always ends up being the like you gotta wait 10 hours, or I can fly you
Mhm.
this other place where you can wait 8 hours, and it's like
Yeah.
whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the shame of crying in public, that one will always get me. So I think that was like a moment. But yeah. And then I think just looking back on it, I'm like the logic behind the fact that like meeting someone for the first time at like 7:45 in the morning and then being like, we're gonna fuck is
Yeah.
not a well thought out like plan meeting someone.
Definitely not. Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, I don't think you really ever want to meet someone in the morning. That's usually just a bad sign. Either someone
Right.
is still drunk
Truly.
or they're completely sober and have been for years and years.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this is when I do dates at 8 a.m. I get coffee.
Exactly.
You know, that's it.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I think that part was yeah, I'm like, that's rough. I would never do that again.
To like for the first time, yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
like the main. But you are on vacation. You know, you are somewhere else.
Right.
So do you have the opportunity? I don't know, but I wonder if that happens for a lot of people who live in a destination like that, where
Right.
they're like, oh yeah, I just hook up with people who are here visiting like tourists all the time.
Yeah, I mean, based on
But-
my experience in Hawaii that year, I think that's like a big part of
Like,
it.
I could see that,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's yeah,
How
part
else
of the
you
hookup
gonna
culture for sure.
hook up at 8 a.m. in Hawaii? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you remember it.
I remember it. Yeah, it was
There's
a
some
memorable hookup.
dates or whatever that I'm like were so boring or bland or whatever that you're like, oh, I didn't even remember.
Yeah,
This
I wouldn't
person.
recognize them on the street.
Right,
Anymore. Yeah, and I'm like, we shared a meal, and yeah,
And that was it.
totally.
So this one, yeah, you remember because it's connected to shame.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Just a place to keep that.
Were you guys? Maybe I missed it. Were you just on a family vacation, or were you there for like a wedding or something?
We were just on a family
Just on a
vacation.
family
Hadn't taken a family vacation in a long time.
But
I was-
everybody was adults at this point.
everybody's
was it?
adults.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah. And so it was just, and I was going through this crazy breakup back here. So I think that's what I was like on the host role.
Got
Like
it.
I was like, I'm fucking to like forget my life right now. You know what I mean?
I mean, so then if that's your goal, you did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Of like, let me party and have fun
Yes.
and to be, you know, you made your own choices and
I
we
did.
support that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Even if they were absolutely horrible.
I mean, overall is probably a good learning lesson for a few of them, you know, a
Right.
few of the parts of it. Which, did you ever do a morning hookup with someone you hadn't met before ever again?
no.
See,
That- see,
you know,
yeah,
maybe
true.
you learned that
I did
lesson.
learn
I
that.
don't know if everyone needs to learn that lesson, but
I needed it.
we're,
Yeah.
we're teaching some people for sure.
Exactly.
And then, okay, so then, I mean, that's the only time. That's so funny because when I was in Hawaii and had a similar situation story, I had just kind of been getting over a breakup too. That was really
Yeah.
bad.
If you're trying to like fuck the pain away of post breakup, like head to
Hawaii,
Honolulu.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get on those dating apps.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Oh,
Yeah, that was just a series of bad hookup choices. The other person who I hooked up with, this is during that time period when I was there for 2 weeks.
2 weeks is a long time.
2 weeks
and
is a long
I do
time.
feel like you have to, especially if that's your circumstance.
Yeah.
I got to figure it out someday. You know, you're like,
Right.
I can't go 2 weeks without some intimate affection.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was living with my ex back here. So I was like, okay, I'm away.
Right.
You know, it's like
Right. I
time
got
to-
my own space.
Yeah, but the other person I hooked up with while I was there actually got arrested on January 6th. So it was like a series of like bad hookup choices for sure.
Was
Yeah.
that on Tinder as well?
It was another person who had met on
okay.
Tinder.
And then
yeah.
how do you find out this? Like you saw a picture on the news or something?
So,
or how do you
like, we had, like, kind
you,
of,
like,
like,
keep in touch?
vaguely, like, you know, you, like, follow each other on Instagram. Because me and him had, like, hooked up over the course of, like, weeks, like, several times the first week I was there in
Okay.
Hawaii. And then, so we, like, kind of kept up on Instagram. There's a little
Got it.
Snapchatting a little bit. And then, like, randomly, I, like, knew, I knew he was a Trump supporter in 2015, but
I think we talked about this at the time, actually.
I didn't think, you know, Trump was going to win. So I was just like, here's some
Yeah.
guy spouting a stupid shit. You know how men be talking politics. And so I was like, whatever. And then, you know, Trump won.
And then what that meant about that guy. That was much different.
exactly. I got deeper into Trump stuff. And then I was just like randomly, like someone will pop in my head and I'll just like Google search them. One of my toxic traits. I'll just be like, what is someone up to? Let's like start at the
It's
top.
like-
you
yeah,
know?
I was gonna say, let's go through everything.
Yeah.
What's this LinkedIn activity?
Exactly. And then I looked it up, and it's like came up as like arrested his photos up
his
there.
name was in the
His
article.
name was up there. His picture was up there, and I was like, damn.
I did not anticipate you to follow up the story with actually the worst hookup was not in the 8 a.m. story.
Yeah, it was actually worse than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole just hooking up on a family vacation might be like, that was when you get a little, but that's okay. I actually remember this talk about this person, I think, or maybe just unless you had experiences with other Trump supporters. No. Okay, it was just right.
Thank you for checking.
Yeah,
well,
but we were talking because I have been kind of dating someone where on the like third or fourth date was like, I need to tell you I'm a Trump supporter, and I was like, you're right, you should have told me that probably, But so you and I had talked about it because you were like, yeah, I like didn't know, but we were both saying maybe the craziness helps them in the bedroom,
right?
And so,
we used to be toxic people, We're now you're married, I'm getting married.
Yeah,
like,
everything's fine.
Times changed.
We learned a lot of things about ourselves during that time.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, I haven't looked into the person that I knew that was a Trump supporter, but maybe they got arrested too. I don't know if I know.
We all could have been connected to someone on January 6th.
I mean, maybe if you know white people, probably.
Yeah. It's like the Kevin Bacon 6 degrees of separation thing.
The January 6 degrees.
Exactly. Everybody has theirs. So,
Oh, man. I bet.
So funny.
I bet. There's no way that I, as a stand-up comedian, probably haven't been like friends with or been on shows with someone who you're like, oh damn, oh okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like another one bites the dust. You know what I mean? You're like,
oh my gosh, I don't know how do you differentiate those that's one whole story. I think that's one whole
it was
bad
one
idea.
trip. Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like the hookups with the Trump guy were bad.
No, that was fine. He like came out to my comedy shows while I was there. We had this like weird week-long like, I think we were both going through breakups, like had this like, oh, we're like fake dating. You ever this you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, those hookups were all like fine, but then it was just like the aftermath of all that. Then I became filled with shame as I was like, oh wow, I hooked up with this guy who's like been arrested or whatever. Yeah, I
mean, you wouldn't have known that was a bad idea until years later. So
yeah, exactly.
The bad idea at the time is the 8 a.m. hookup and missing of the flight and those things. But now we know.
Exactly.
The other one might have been worse.
Exactly. Yes. 100%.
That is okay. So you just Googled his name and then were you like shocked or were you like, oh, I could see that?
I was like, okay, this kind of checks out because he was like head of like the like
QAnon
Proud
group. No,
Boys of Hawaii. Has a black wife, so kind of wild there. And
did you know at the time that he was like when you were hooking up that he was a Proud Boy or whatever?
No, because I don't think at that point.
Yeah, was it 2015?
I don't know if they like popped up until
starting. I feel like
they were in the early. I don't even know if they'd named themselves yet. Like I don't know. So yeah, so I'd like vaguely seen stuff.
Yeah,
but he like it just got more and more deep.
More and more.
Yeah.
And you stayed. Do you still follow him on Instagram?
No.
Okay.
No, I was like, this is. I was like, this is
sometimes you
good.
want to peek, but if it's someone you hooked up with, then maybe sometimes it feels like a little dirty.
And I think he got kicked off a lot of social media apps here and there for like. Obviously, like what he was posting, you know what I mean. So, I think maybe there probably
some
was
new
a
accounts.
Point.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Wow.
And then I was like, I don't need to follow this person. I don't need to keep up. But yeah,
that's hilarious. I'm sorry. That's such a good. This really took a turn here.
Yeah.
Okay. That reminds me. So at the end of the year.
Yeah.
We do what's called the Dummies, which is like the awards for the Dummies, and they get to nominate people. So you're actually the last episode before our nomination episode and our awards episode. And so I want to remind everyone of the categories. So you can comment, and actually I should figure out what. It's any episode that was done this year, 2023, is eligible. So you can comment who you want to nominate, or you can message on our Instagram or whatever, and then I'll put together the nominees and you vote on like a Google form that I'll put out. It's
Awesome.
it's silly, but so we'll fit, because I feel like that's such a good.
Yeah.
You could get nominated, you know.
Yeah, feel free to nominate me for being a dumb bitch. Yeah.
I mean, we haven't had anybody mention, because we have sometimes like personal life
Right.
choices or dating stuff or whatever. I don't think we've had anybody mention that they had hooked up with someone who got arrested on January 6th. Like that's pretty top notch.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, the categories are best dumb character. Yeah, we have some of those. I had to think of if we have some people, you know, whatever. We had, I believe, Justice Beaver won one year,
Nice.
which was a superhero that Kane Holloway made up. That was a beaver. It's dumb, obviously. Best dumb storyline, best dumb invention, best dumb life choice. This might be it.
Yeah.
This might be the category for that.
Yeah.
Best dumb app or website, best non-scripted show, best dumb live performance, and then the That Could Work award, which is one that you're like, oh, that's actually a pretty good idea, you know? And then dumb pitch of the year, which is just your favorite bad idea, which you could maybe also be in that one. I don't know. But so make sure you send me your nominations, who should be, and I'll post it on the Instagram and stuff. So you can just comment under there. I don't know. And vote for as many, or nominate as many people as you want, I guess. Oh my gosh, this was great.
Yeah.
Tell people where they can follow you, or follow your
Okay.
podcast, or come see you live, or whatever you want.
Yeah, so people can follow me at Alyssa Yo on Instagram and X/Twitter, whatever you call it. And then Is This Normal Pod on Instagram. Look up Is This Normal Podcast. It's on anywhere you stream. YouTube I think is Alyssa Yo Comedy if you're into that. I'm already doing some YouTube stuff, so
Nice.
just you know what, just put my name in the Google search
There you
bar,
go.
see what comes
See
up.
what comes up.
Add me on LinkedIn.
No.
Shit, I don't give a fuck. You know,
Not arrested on January 6th.
yeah,
That's good.
exactly. Nothing too sketchy will come up for me, but
That's what you pretend like we hooked up and you were interested to know what I was up to now.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
Google me in the search there. That's hilarious.
whatever you find, click on it and
And
bookmark
follow
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That's good. Well, thank you for doing it. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, share, whatever, rate, review, subscribe on podcast apps. You can join our YouTube memberships, which gets you these episodes early and ad-free, and then lots of other stuff, including the ad-free version of my new comedy special, Jokes for the Holidays. So if you're a member, you get that ad-free forever. If you're not a member and you haven't seen it, you should still go and watch the public version. It does have ads. But my new special is out. I think this is the first episode since. So go and watch it and like and share and tell everybody, and, still listen to jokes about the holidays when it's not the holidays. Oh, but this has been great. Thank you. Right now, you can just keep watching Dumb Pitches.
You're weird.
Yes.